All praises for giving the blessing. Hey, shalom, church. How y'all doing? Most High in Christ bless. So we're going to jump right into the topic, all right? So what's been going on, right? So Bishop been dropping some heavy classes, Bishop Nathaniel. And, you know, the class has been going into a lot of heavy prophecies, right? And it's been going into tribulation for Israel, all right? Us having to deal with these other nations when they start judging, well, not judging us, but taking us through trials, all right? Start killing us. You understand? So I've been wanting to kind of touch on this for a minute, you know what I'm saying? So I'm taking this opportunity now to do it. But in the midst of that, give me that thing in Isaiah chapter 33 and verse 6. The title is Yesterday's Ashes, but Tomorrow's Bloodbath. I got that last part from you when you said that thing. Yesterday's ashes, us being yesterday's ashes, and tomorrow bloodbath is going to the judgment of these other nations. So give me that in Isaiah chapter 33, verse 6.
This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 33, and verse 6. In wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times.
Shall be thy what?
Shall be the stability of thy times.
So the stability in respect of loyalty. You understand? So when we start going through these things, it's important that we remain loyal, because I'm starting to hear things, you know what I'm saying? Things is popping off, and it's, you know, people are losing loyalty. So some of you younger men, all right, and women need to be taught loyalty, because y'all didn't have it growing up. This generation, these younger generations, y'all wasn't taught loyalty, all right? When you look, you can see it in our community. You understand? It really started in, like, toward the end of my adolescence. You know what I'm saying? You start seeing brothers being real disloyal. You understand? So give me Mark chapter 3, verse 25. Mark chapter 3, verse 25 real quick. Read down to verse 27.
This is the book of Mark, chapter 3, and verse 25.
Go ahead.
And if a house be divided against itself, that house cannot stand.
So we got to be unified as a people, all right? We can't be disloyal, all right? We can't be unstable in our mind. We got to have a stable and sound mind, especially when these trials start, because, you know what I'm saying, your health, you know what I'm saying, is going to be threatened. You understand? Read.
And if Satan rise up against himself and be divided, he cannot stand.
And that we see that going on today. Satan is being divided. You got Ukraine against Russia. You understand? Go ahead.
But hath an end. No man can enter into a strong man's house and spoil his goods, except he will first bind the strong man.
That strong man is Christ. That strong man is that wisdom and that knowledge, all right, that we got to possess in our temples, all right, when we get tested and we start going through these trials. Is it more on that?
And then he will spoil his house.
All right, so now let's go ahead and get into the topic. I just wanted to touch on that. Maybe I go into that another day. So yesterday's ashes and tomorrow's bloodbath. Give me Matthew chapter 10 and verse 28, because I was speaking about how that, you know, the bishop be dropping some heavy stuff, and I be like, you know what I'm saying, it's natural to kind of dread those things to come. You understand? Nobody really wants to go through those things, but we understand that we got to go through those things, all right? Because I only say somewhere that through much tribulation they shall get the kingdom. Give me that in Matthew chapter 10 and verse 28.
This is the book of Matthew, chapter 10 and verse 28. And fear not them which kill the body, but are not able to kill the soul.
So Christ is saying, fear not them that can kill the body. They got the power to kill us. You understand? And we're going to go into all of that. They got the power to kill the body, but they do not have power to kill your soul. You understand? You possess the power to keep your soul, all right? The scriptures say even in your patience, you possess your soul. You understand? So we're going to have to be patient in these last days, not only in our own, you know what I'm saying, personal trials, but with each other as well. You understand? Read it from the top.
And fear not them which kill the body, but are not able to kill the soul.
Read.
But rather fear him which is able to destroy both soul and body in hell.
All right, so that's Christ, all right? God is the judge. So he's able to destroy your soul and your body in hell. I'm not even trying to know what that's like. You understand what I'm saying? To know, to feel my soul be kill. You understand? That's got to be on another level. Give me 2 Timothy chapter 1 verse 7 real quick. 2 Timothy chapter 1 verse 7. Let me get it first. Go ahead.
This is the book of 2 Timothy, chapter 1 and verse 7.
Read.
For God hath not given us the spirit of fear.
But God has not given us the spirit of fear. So guess what? If you got that spirit of fear on you, you got to understand that didn't come from God. You know what I'm saying? That come from Satan. You understand? If you're not reading, studying, doing things like fasting, building yourself up in communication, listening to the word, you're going to have that fear of the spirit is going to jump on you. You understand? So you got to be engulfed in this thing. Read it again.
For God hath not given us the spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind.
And a what?
And of a sound mind.
To have a sound, stable mind in these last days. You understand, with the things that we got faced against us. Give me Joshua chapter 1 verse 9. Joshua chapter 1 verse 9. Let's take a page out of the book of Joshua and see how what he said concerning fear. Read when you got it.
This book of Joshua, chapter 1 and verse 9. Have not I commanded thee? Be strong and of a good courage.
He say, he said, read that again.
Have not I commanded thee?
So he said, have not I commanded thee? Read.
Be strong.
Be strong.
And of a good courage.
We got to be strong and of a good courage. All right? Read.
Be not afraid.
Do what?
Be not afraid.
Joshua told our forefathers when we was about to take our land, be not afraid. So guess what? There's no new thing under the sun. Here it is today. We got to gird our loins up and, you know what I'm saying, and be courageous, and we can't be afraid. Read.
Neither be thou dismayed, for the Lord thy God is with thee.
You got to know that thing. You got to know, okay, we can't see God. We can't see the angels, right? But you got to know the Lord thy God, he's with you. You ain't going to have that confidence if you're in the midst of sin, if you got hatred against your neighbor. You understand? Read.
For the Lord thy God is with thee, whithersoever thou goest.
Now, give me, let's get into 2nd Ezra chapter 11, verse 36. I'm going to keep you busy tonight. You know what I'm saying? We got about 13 clips we're going to go to, so stick with me. Stick with me. 2nd Ezra chapter 11 and verse 36.
You want it?
No, verse 2nd Ezra. Give me that.
Gotcha. 2nd Ezra chapter 11 and verse 36.
Then
And I heard a voice which said unto me.
Go ahead. Read verse 36 again.
Verse 36.
Go ahead.
Then I heard a voice which said unto me, look before thee, and consider the thing that thou seest.
So he said, look before thee and consider the thing that thou seest. Read.
And I beheld, and lo, as it were, a roaring lion chased out of the wood.
So a roaring lion ran out of the wood. Read.
And I saw that he sent out a man's voice.
So he spoke, this roaring lion spoke in a man's voice. Come on.
Unto the eagle.
Read.
And said, hear thou, I will talk with thee, and the highest shall say unto thee, art not thou it that remaineth of the 4 beasts, whom I have made to reign in my world?
He says, art not thou it that remaineth of the four beasts, whom I made to reign in my world? Knowing, understanding that, look, this world has never been in control of these other nations. God has always been behind that. Read.
That the end of their times might come through them.
So these other nations, the end of their times is going to come through them. Go ahead, read.
And the 4th came and overcame all the beasts that were past, and had power over the world with great fearfulness.
Now that's speaking about Rome. Read.
And over the whole compass of the earth with much wicked oppression. And so long time dwelt he upon the earth with deceit.
So now that's not talking about Rome, because Rome didn't have dominion over the whole compass of the earth. This is going into America. Read on.
For the earth hast thou not judged with truth.
Read.
For thou hast afflicted the meek. Thou hast hurt the peaceable. Thou hast loved liars, and destroyed the dwellings of them that brought forth fruit.
Read.
And hast cast down the walls of such as did thee no harm.
That's going on today, right? Because they had staged the whole thing with Gaza. Not that we either one of those nations' side. We're not on the side of the Palestinians or the Arabs. We're not on the side of the Israelis, all right? But they have did what? Read that part again.
For thou hast afflicted the meek.
Read.
Thou hast hurt the peaceable. Thou hast loved liars, and destroyed the dwellings of them that brought forth fruit, and hast cast down the walls of such as did thee no harm.
That's the part I wanted right there. They have cast down walls of such that have did thee no harm. You got something you want to bring out? Read.
Therefore is thy wrongful dealing come up unto the highest, and thy pride unto the mighty.
Read.
The highest also hath looked upon the proud times, and behold, they are ended, and his abominations are fulfilled.
So guess what? God been watching this whole time. You understand? All the prideful times of the so-called white man whose biblical name is Esau. He been watching. You understand? He was watching during the Middle Ages. You understand? When they infiltrated us. He was watching when he infiltrated the peaceful protest movement, dealing with Martin Luther King and Malcolm X, and the Black Panthers and all these movements that our people had when they were sicking dogs on us and all these things. He been watching the whole time. Read.
And therefore appear no more, thou eagle, nor thy horrible wings,
Read.
Nor thy wicked feathers, nor thy malicious heads, nor thy hurtful claws.
So that's going into everything that makes up America. So let's go ahead and start with video number 01. He looked
Prime
tired as
Minister,
hell.
as you know, even those in the South say they do not feel safe. French President Emmanuel Macron has said there is, quote, no justification for the ongoing bombing of civilians. All over the world, you've seen protesters who are calling for an end.
All right, take it to the beginning. Now you notice she mentioned President of France. All right, you got to remember back in 2021, America with Britain stepped in between a deal that France had with Australia. It was a submarine nuclear deal for $66 billion. All right, so after that happened, France took out their ambassador from America and from London and called them home. And ever since then, France been pissed. So you see his reaction. Take notice of his reaction when France is being brought up. He wanted to curse that president of France out.
Prime Minister, as you know, even those in the South say they do not feel safe. French President Emmanuel Macron has said there is, quote, no justification for the ongoing bombing of civilians. All over the world, you've seen protesters who are calling for an end to civilian deaths in Gaza. Can you win this war without global support?
We will win this war because we have no other choice. There's no life for us. There's no future for us and our neighbors if we allow the axis of terror led by Iran, Hezbollah, Hamas, the Houthis, and their minions to dominate. We have an alliance for peace on the other side. It includes Israel, the United States, the moderate Arab states, and the rest of the civilized world. Now, it's a question, who wins? We have to win. There's confusion in many parts of the world. I have to say, not in the United States. I'm glad to see that the majority of the American people support Israel.
All right, so he's just going on with a lot of gibberish. All right, so you notice he says we have to win this war after she makes a point that, like, you don't even have global support. You understand what I'm saying? So God is bringing the prophecies of the Bible to pass. The man of sin is being revealed. Everybody is seeing this man. Give me Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 4. All these other nations are seeing this man for who he is. It ain't back when, you know what I mean, during the slave times in like the 1600s where they can do things in the woods or in the forest. You understand? We got social media now. As soon as things popping off, it's going on mainstream. Everybody can see it. Everybody can see what this man is doing, that he has no compassion. Read what you got.
This is the book of Habakkuk, chapter 2, and verse 4. Behold, his soul, which is lifted up in him, which is lifted up, is not upright in him.
Read it again. Read it right.
Habakkuk 2 and 4. Behold, his soul, which is lifted up, is not upright in him.
So because his soul is lifted up, his spirit ain't right. You understand? This man, when he gets the opportunity to tell a lie, he gonna tell a lie. You understand? He's gonna try to deceive the people. You know what I'm saying? I seen a clip that he was calling Ishmael, knowing doggone well that they Amalek. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy. All right? Read that again.
Behold, his soul, which is lifted up, is not upright in him.
Read.
But the just shall live by his faith.
All right, so now let's get video number 2. Video number 2. Start around 35 seconds. Video number 2.
That's the democracy of Israel. And that's the democracy of Israel. Americans know that Israel and the United States share common values, that we defend common interests, that we face common enemies. Iran's leaders know that too. You know, for them, you're the great Satan, we're the little Satan. For them, we are you and you're us. And you know something, Mr. President? At least on this last point, I think they're right.
Stop.
We are you.
Stop. He said the world thinks that you're a big Satan and we're a little Satan. And then he says, you know what? On that point, they're right. They know who they are. You understand? And they one in the same. It's all kind of Amalekites in the military that's running stuff in the political system. They came here and they changed their names and things like that to have more Americanized names. They one in the same. You understand? That's why America sends them billions of dollars every year. So you heard it from the white man's mouth himself, all right? Or the pink man. We're going to stop calling him white. Go ahead.
Yo, let's cause we checking out this man and how he actually moves. So give me Obadiah chapter 3 real quick, verse 3. Obadiah verse 3. Because Esau is a very prideful man. You know what I'm saying? He says, they making these moves like, who gonna stop it? You know what I'm saying? Who can stop us from doing what we're doing? You know what I'm saying? Because they got their power right now. They got the nuclear weapons. They got the world, you know what I'm saying, in the chokehold right now. And they know they got their hand on their bomb, and it's 1 second later, it's just going down. Go ahead, read that.
This is the book of Obadiah, chapter 3. The pride of thine heart hath deceived thee.
Right, so God tells Obadiah, we read in verse 1, it says, read verse 1, just the first part.
Verse 1, the vision of Obadiah. Thus saith the Lord God concerning Edom.
So this is the vision concerning Edom. Jump back down to verse 3.
Verse 3, the pride of thine heart hath deceived thee.
Right, so this man is a very prideful man, and he's being deceived. He's thinking he all that. Go ahead.
Thou that dwellest in the cliffs of the rock.
Right out of Mount Seir. Go ahead.
Whose habitation is high. That saith in his heart, who shall bring me down to the ground?
They saying, who gonna bring me down to the ground? Because they are a prideful nation. You know what I'm saying? They thinking that they can just run around and do what they gonna do, and they basically empire is gonna last forever. But God is gonna actually check them and everything in the end. But you know what I'm saying? I just wanted to bring that out, the fact that they had so much pride that we was kind of talking about. That just kind of goes right into what Obadiah was saying about this man.
Right. Give me that thing I just put in the telegram, right? The audacity of these people. Right. You understand what I'm saying? The audacity of these people. Give me that thing. Put it on the screen. First, get the book. Get the book. Get the book. You see that? So, chosen people from the Caucasus, right? Get the next page. Read that right there.
The Jews could be considered as an extra aggressive.
They could be considered as what?
As an extra aggressive.
Those so-called Jews over there in our land. Read.
Cultural and ethnic expression within the Caucasian race.
Within the what?
Within the Caucasian race.
You're talking about Caucasians. Go ahead.
And this accounted for their inordinate influence in Western civilization.
Read on.
The lecturer also pointed out that the vast majority of contemporary Jews have no...
Next page. They have no what?
Historical or genetic relationship to ancient Palestine at all.
They ain't the people of the land. Right. Why is he acting like you the people of the land?
Hey,
this is a white man that wrote this.
You say historical or genetic.
That's why you can't get a DNA. It's illegal to get a DNA test in Israel. Because they not the ancient people of the land. They the devil the Bible speaks of, like he said. Yep. Now get the next page. That's all I want to right there. Get the next. Scroll on over. Read that.
Nuclear war, environmental pollution, resource rape, all are primary threats to our survival, and all are the result of peculiarly Caucasoid behavior.
What kind of behavior?
Caucasoid behavior.
Read.
Caucasoid values and Caucasoid psychology.
That's what we just saw. Caucasoid psychology. Right. Him acting like that's the land that they were that God gave to them, knowing that they took the land. You know what I'm saying? And now they are about to put them Arabs out of there, or Palestinian. I'm saying niggas, they taking them up out of there. You know what I'm saying? They finna colonize that land and occupy it. Read on.
There is no way to avoid the truth.
There's no way you can avoid the truth. Now, today, you can't avoid it. It's all over the internet what they doing. They the devil. Read on.
The problem with the world is white men.
The problem with the world is what?
Is white men.
There it is right there. Go ahead.
According to the Bible, they look at us like we're a hate group. We call them Satan according to the scriptures, but the man just said it. Y'all big Satan and we little Satan. And you know what? They actually right. Nobody says nothing. But we the hate group.
Hold up. One more thing, right? I'm finna put something else in there. You understand what I'm saying? They've always been known to be the devil. You know what I'm saying? This ain't new information, right? This has always been known, right? It's new to black people in America that white folks is the devil, right? But watch this. What's the name of that book?
The Jew, a Negro.
Okay, when was this published? 1910, down there at the bottom. All right, get the next page. Get the next page. All right, read the highlighted part. See it down there at the bottom?
Joseph is regarded by many as the real starting point of Jewish history in its relation to the messianic prophecy. He was, we know, the most prominent of the sons of Israel, Jacob. Pharaoh, in his endeavor to honor Joseph, gave him
next page
the daughter of the priest of On, Potipharah, an Egyptian, to wife. From this relationship, 2 sons were born to Joseph. The reader must not lose sight of the fact elsewhere, herein historically proved, that it was no less a repugnance to the white races to intermarry with the black races.
So it's going in interracial marriage, but watch this, read.
Than it was to the blacks to take white consorts, as they consider white people in common with the devil.
They what? They consider white people what?
They consider white people in common with the devil.
They consider white people in common with the devil, read.
And thus painted all their symbols of the wicked one.
The wicked one. So this ain't new news. We just reintroducing it to black folks today. The white man, the devil. It just is what it is. And they've been knowing it since at least 1910 from that book. You know what I'm saying? We got older books. But go ahead.
That's, you know what I'm saying, the ashes of yesterday. You know what I'm saying? It's some things that we have not known. It's always been in the earth, but now it's coming back. And you said Potiphar. I heard you, soldier. It's Potiphar. You thought I didn't catch that. Give me Daniel. Let's see who he get his power from. Let's see who he get his power from. Give me Daniel chapter 8, verse 24. To further double down that he is the devil that the Bible speaks of. Furthermore, the children of the devil. Read what you got.
This book of Daniel, chapter 8 and verse 24.
32.
Verse
I'm sorry, 24. You was right.
24. And his power shall be mighty, but not by his own power.
You see that? Not by his own power. Give me Revelation chapter 13, verse 2. Revelation chapter 13, verse 2. Not by his own power, but whose power is it? Come on.
This book of Revelation, chapter 13 and verse 2. And the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard, and his feet were as the feet of a bear, and his mouth as the mouth of a lion. And the dragon gave him his power, and his seat, and great authority.
Read.
And I saw one of his heads, as it were wounded to death, and his deadly wound was healed, and all the world wondered after the beast. And they worshipped the dragon, which gave power unto the beast.
You see that? They worshiped the what?
And they worshipped the dragon, which gave power unto the beast.
So the dragon, Satan himself, gave these men the power that they have. You understand? So now, Let's go ahead and get the next video. Where were we at? Give me number 3. All right. Give me number 3. Start at 45. Let me see. Well, 40 seconds. Let's see Satan in action. Let's see his little minions in action.
Where you at? Come talk to me. Come talk to me. Why you hiding? You see that? Look who told us Sunday he hiding from us. Sunday. How you doing? How you doing? What's your name? Mike. How you doing, brother? Mike. What day did the Lord say that we supposed to serve him? Sunday. Let's read it again. But the 7th day is the 7th of the Lord thy God. What day is the 7th day of the week?
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, 7.
Boy, ain't no way. What day is the first day of the week?
Monday.
See that? Sunday! Then you just lied to me. You can't help it. You can't help it. You can't help it. What color is Jesus? What color is Jesus?
It depends on what you say, what I say.
No. It don't matter what we say. We got the Bible open. What color the Bible say Jesus is? I said, what color the Bible say Jesus
He said Jerusalem.
is? What race? What color was the man that hung on the cross that died for? The Bible say Jesus is. What race? What color was the man that hung on the cross that died for the Israelite sins? What color was that man?
Jesus.
See that? He can't even say it. But we gonna read it. Give me the Revelations. Come on. Revelation chapter 1 and verse 1. The revelation of Jesus Christ. See, this is the revealing of Jesus Christ because guess what?
I think that's it. I think that's it. Jerusalem and Jesus, according to what color Christ is. Woo, that thing was funny, boy, when I seen that. Stop
That's the
laughing.
devil. That's the devil for you. He can't tell you the truth.
You're right. Give me that thing in Psalms 58, verse 3 real quick. Psalms 58, verse 3. He bold-faced and said, Jesus, a grown man who got a job and probably a family. Wow.
This is the book of Psalms, chapter 58 and verse 3. The wicked are estranged from the womb.
Hey, these people strange from birth. As soon as they come out between their mama's legs, they strange. Read.
They go astray as soon as they be born, speaking lies.
They wouldn't they can't even speak words yet. They already trying to lie. That's what the Bible said. I ain't write it. All the way up until he like what 55 years old, he's still lying.
He ain't lying.
He can talk. He heard exactly what he said. And come on, man, you can't make these things up. Huh? Give me Job 20 and verse 11. All right. Job 20 and verse 11, read down to verse 13. All right.
This book of Job, chapter 20 and verse 11.
Read.
His bones were full of the sin of his youth.
So the scripture says his bones are full of the sins of his youth. All right, read.
Which shall lie down with him in the dust.
So guess what? The ones that's walking around today is still going to receive the judgment of their forefathers, whether or not they had slaves, whipped slaves, hung slaves. Read.
Though wickedness be sweet in his mouth, though he hide it under his tongue, though he spare it and forsake it not, but keep it still within his mouth.
You see that? They can't stop lying, all right? They hide truth with their tongue. Read on.
Yet his meat and his bowels is turned. It is the gall of asps within him.
That everything this man speak is poison. So now, they love lies and to keep our people oppressed. Give me video number 4. Video number 4. Actually, it's the name. The name of the book is Spain, a England blighted by religion. Spain, a land blighted by religion. All right, so let's just read this, all right? Because the people that's all in the news today has something in common with the conquistadors. All right, read that.
The belief that Columbus was of Jewish ancestry is prevalent throughout Spain.
So Christopher Colombo, all right, was a Jewish convert. All right, so we finding out that the conquistadors it was convert. Today they would be considered Jewish. All right, so this is some new news that the world has always known, just like they have known that they was the devil that the Bible speaks of. So with that, let's look into the mannerisms of the conquistadors. Give me the let me see where I'm at. Number 5. Number 5. I want to add a little theatrics to it. Give me number 5 video. Who all seen the movie Apocalypto? Raise your hand. Who hasn't seen it? Raise your hand. You never seen Apocalypto? You may have seen it. If you never have, check it out. All right. They don't speak a word of English in it, but it's one of the best movies I ever seen. You understand? All right. Whenever y'all ready. Arrival of the invaders. So pause. So now you have the Incas and the Mayans, right? They at war with each other for whatever reason, right? So this one in the front is called Black Panther, I think his name is. Panther something. I think it's Black Panther. So they chasing him throughout the forest. He the only one they couldn't kill. He fast as hell. You know what I'm saying? So this is what you see in the Incas and the Mayans are fighting one another. But then they come across this. Go ahead. Pause. Go back a little bit. So now you see the white flag. To me, that symbolizes peace. They got the cross, so they bring in religion, and they got warriors. You don't see no women, no kids. All right, go ahead, play. See the Native American men, women, child, infants. Go, little baby. Some of y'all probably remember now that you have seen it. She said, what are they? He said they bring men. So this is, it's actually an historical account. All right, the conquistadors came to the Americas and started invading America. So I wanted to give y'all a visual, that there was men, women, little kids, and infants on this side of the earth when they came. Now, let's go to the book. I think we're at, let me see here. Let's get number 6. Now, in these movies, what they do is they give you a visual historical account, right, on some of the things they did to us, Northern Kingdom and Southern Kingdom alike, right? But they never really go into detail, right? So I want to go into detail the best I can, right, to show you what kind of monster we really dealing with. You understand what I'm saying? All right, go ahead. Put that up, Officer Isaac or Soldier, if you can see that, read it. Okay, so this is the book, The Conquest of the New World, American Holocaust, all right? So now give me the next one. All right, yeah, so read that paragraph right there in the middle. So this is like once the men got on the land. Read that.
There was one little child, probably 3 years old, just big enough to walk through the sand. The Indians had gone ahead, and this little child was behind following after them. The little fellow was perfectly naked, traveling on the sand. I saw one man get off his horse at a distance of about 75 yards and draw up his rifle and fire. He missed the child. Another man came up and said, "Let me try the son of a bitch. I can hit him." He got down off his horse, kneeled down, and fired at the little child, but he missed him. A third man came up and made a similar remark and fired, and the little fellow dropped.
Okay, you see that thing right there? So when you see in the news, all right, all on the camera, all these children being killed over in Gaza, again, we don't stand for Gaza. We don't stand for Palestine or Israel.
We on God's side.
We're on God's side. You don't understand what I'm saying? But when you see these kids bloody, damn near on the brink of death, understand they enjoy that. They get pleasure out of that. Don't be confused about it. That's what we dealing with. All right? Now, go to the next one. You got something?
You finished it.
Give me Deuteronomy chapter 28 real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
Verse 49. Let's get some Bible to back this up. Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 49.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28 and verse 49. The Lord shall bring a nation against thee from far,
How far? From Spain. All right? Read.
from the end of the earth,
Come on.
as swift as the eagle flieth.
Because Spain's symbol was the eagle as well. Read.
A nation whose tongue thou shalt not understand.
Because Christopher Columbus is documented he had Hebrew translators on the ships with him. You got that? Read.
A nation of fierce
And
countenance,
we're going to find out how fierce these people are. Read.
which shall not regard the person of the old, nor show favor to the young.
All right. So we see that these heathen, these beasts, they didn't even have any favor to a 3-year-old naked baby. You understand what I'm saying? A helpless little child. They made a sport out of it. All right. You got something?
Yeah, get that what I just put in the telegram. Going into the atrocities that was committed by the conquistadors, Columbus and them, when they came over here, right? Put it up there. Put the first picture. So this is in the book called Africa's Gift to America by J.A. Rogers. Get the next one. Okay, read the highlighted.
The Spaniards considered Indians just one step above the
You
beast.
see that? You see the mentality of the people that came over here? They considered the Northern Kingdom, because that's what we're talking about, one step above a beast. Go ahead.
They called them gentes sin razón, finding them unwilling and useless.
Read next page. Finding them unwilling and useless.
Laborers.
Go ahead.
They massacred them.
They what?
They massacred them
They massacred them, read.
and fed their flesh to
They
dogs.
did what?
Fed their flesh to dogs.
So this is who we dealing with. Keep going.
Las Casas account of this is one of the most horrifying of all documents on man's inhumanity to man.
Read.
They even sent Indians to be sold in Europe.
They did what?
They even sent Indians to be sold in Europe.
Read.
Columbus himself took 400 for sale there in 1498.
So this what they was doing. So, because people like to say Northern Kingdom.
The Israelites.
They ain't the Israelites.
Yeah,
Get
yeah.
that in Deuteronomy 28. Deuteronomy 28, verse 68.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28 and verse 68. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships.
Slavery with ships. How did the so-called North American Indians get from here to Europe? On a ship, a slave ship. We just read it. So the prophecies do fit them.
They do.
Go back to the let's finish reading the thing, the book. Go back to the book. Go back to the book. All right, finish reading that.
The early American whites were almost as cruel. Connecticut whites massacred the Pequot Indians. Infants were torn from their mother's breasts and hacked to pieces.
Read that part again. Infants was what?
Infants were torn from their mother's breast and hacked to
That's
pieces.
what they did to the infants. Read.
The heads of the parents were chopped off and kicked about in the
Chopped
streets.
off heads and kicked them.
Like soccer balls.
Read.
Governor Bradford wrote, "It was a fearful sight to see them frying in the fire, and the streams of blood quenching the same. And terrible was the stink and stench thereof."
Watch this. Keep reading, because we're going into the mentality of we're going into the psychology of how these folks think. Go ahead.
But the victory seemed a sweet sacrifice, and they, the whites, gave praise thereof to God.
They gave praise to who?
Gave praise thereof
They-
to God.
They kicking people head down the street, killing babies out of a pregnant woman's belly, and giving praise to God for that.
The hell like they was Christians.
And these is Christians, and they had the cross.
See, that's why classes like this is good for the soul, because it gets your mind right. You know what I'm saying? We got to understand that this people is not our friend. This is what we call, when the Bible says they're your enemies, that's what the Bible actually means. Give me Amos chapter 1 and verse 11. I just want to hit this point real quick, because these people, they had a hatred for us for a long time. And the Bible clearly defines this. See what Amos said about it real quick. Read that.
This book of Amos, chapter 1 and verse 11. Thus saith the Lord, for 3 transgressions of Edom.
This is talking about Edom. We're talking about the so-called white man, the same one that was over there kicking people's heads around. Go ahead.
And for 4, I will not turn away the punishment thereof.
God said, I will not turn away the punishment thereof. Why?
Because-
Why won't God turn away his punishment for Edom? Because God got something in store for this people. What does he have in store? But let's see why he won't turn away his punishment. Read.
Because he did pursue his brother with the sword.
No, his brother is Jacob. Jacob and Esau were brothers. He said he did pursue his brother with the sword. Go ahead.
And did cast off all
He
pity.
cast off all pity. It was no remorse. It was like murder. You know what I'm saying? They would kill us like we dogs. They treat us like we ain't nothing. Go ahead, finish reading.
And his anger did tear perpetually.
His anger did tear perpetually, meaning that he's angry forever. You know what I'm saying? He's been mad at Jacob from the beginning. I mean, because they was like sworn enemies. That's why the Bible talks about 2 nations that people were separated from the bowels. All right, go ahead.
And he kept his wrath forever.
He kept his wrath how long?
Forever.
So he kept his wrath forever. That's why it's continuing going on to this day. That's why you still see black folks getting hung to this very single day. It's still going on. I mean, we got to understand that we are up against an enemy. We are not up against our friend. So if you still secretly running around hugging on white people, trying to get them to come over your house, hanging out with them, you need to check your spirit, because you got the devil on you. Go ahead.
That's right.
Hey, yo, all praises. That deserves a hand clap right there.
Hold up. Let's get to. I want to get that point, because you mentioned that he had interpreters on there.
Okay.
So we're gonna prove it. So get that. Get what I just put in there. Get what I just put in there. All right. Okay, Christopher Columbus and the participation of the Jews in the Spanish and Portuguese discovery. Scroll down. Get the that's the name of the book. Scroll down. It was published when? What date it say? 1894. These old books, y'all. Old books. All right. Next page. Read.
On August 2nd, 1492, which fell on the day of mourning for the twofold destruction of Jerusalem. 300,000 Jews, according to some writers, the number was much larger, left Spain to settle in.
So this is in 1492 when we got kicked out of Spain. So this was what was going on the other side while Columbus and them came over here and was raped, robbing, and pillaging. This was going on in Spain. Our people got kicked out. Read.
Left Spain to settle in Africa, Turkey, Portugal, Italy, and France. On that ever memorable day, they sailed from the harbors of Cartagena, Valencia, Cadiz, Laredo, Barcelona, and Tarragona.
All right, next page. Read the highlighted part.
Were there any persons of Jewish extraction on the Armada, which under Columbus's guidance?
Armada means the bunch of ships, a fleet of ships. Yeah, fleet of ships. Read.
which under Columbus's guidance steered its course toward a new world,
Read.
it was not easy for him to find men willing to accompany him on his adventurous voyage. Even persons guilty of crime were released from prison on condition that they should enroll themselves among the recruits.
Because he was having problems trying to find people to go on this voyage with him. Go ahead.
What was to prevent Jews,
He said, what was to prevent Jews, read,
under the ban of expulsion, persecuted, and homeless, from taking part in the voyage? Among the explorer's companions, whose names have come down to us, the complete list is lost. There were several men of Jewish stock.
of what?
There were several men of Jewish stock.
But there were several men of Jewish stock, read.
For example, Louis de Torres, a Jew who had occupied a position under the governor of Murcia, who was baptized shortly before Columbus sailed.
Read that part again.
Who was baptized shortly before Columbus sailed.
Because they was forcing us into Christianity over there. You know what I'm saying? It ain't telling you that part, but it's saying he was baptized, meaning he did it so he can live. And then he hopped on the damn boat. Y'all going where? All right. Go ahead.
As he understood Hebrew, Chaldee,
He understood what?
Chaldee,
Read the first word. The first word.
Hebrew,
He understood Hebrew. Read.
Chaldee, and some Arabic. Columbus employed him as interpreter.
Columbus what?
Employed him as interpreter.
That's why he was on the boat. Read.
Alonso de la Calle was also of Jewish lineage. His name was derived from the Jews' lane from which he came.
All right, that's all. Just to prove that it was Jews on the boat with Columbus. All right.
Right, remember, my bad, officer. But remember why it was so important to have a Hebrew interpreter, because the people on this side of the water actually spoke Hebrew.
Number 808A. Let's check that out real quick. Y'all made a whole lot of good points, you know what I mean? Oh, no, give me, while you're getting that, soldier, give me Psalm 64, verse 8. All right, because there's a lot of historical accounts, documents coming out. You understand? And the Lord has his document proving those things would come out. Give me that.
This book of Psalms, chapter 64 and verse 8.
Read.
So they shall make their own tongue to fall upon themselves.
You know that? You see that? Because they never thought that we was going to read. You understand? They thought
we ain't write none of these books.
we ain't write none of them. We wasn't reading nothing. We was picking cotton, getting our backs beat, our women raped. This was what was happening to us. All right, so now put that up real quick. All right, let me see. Yeah, let's read that. And the soldiers.
And the soldiers never ceased to take delight in killing just for fun.
You know what? I didn't even know that was right there. But you see the mannerisms of these people. I love the precept that the officer Isaac just brought out, saying he had no pity. He cast off all pity. And when you read these documents, this history, you see that the scriptures is true. Okay, go ahead, read.
Spanish report to their own murderous sadism during this time or legion. For a lark, they tore babes from their mother's breasts by their feet and dashed their heads against the rocks.
So that's going into some of the material that you just brought out, officer. Read.
The bodies of other infants they spitted, together with their mothers and all who were before them, on their swords. On one famous occasion in Cuba, a troop of 100 or more Spaniards stopped by the banks of a dry river and sharpened their swords on the whetstones in its bed. Eager to compare the sharpness of their blades, reported an eyewitness to the events. They drew their weapons and began to rip open the bellies to cut and kill those lambs, men, women, children, and old folk.
You see that? Those lambs are people. That's what it's referring to. Women, men, children, and old folks. Just like the scriptures say. You understand? Read.
All of whom were seated, off guard and frightened, watching the mares and the Spaniards.
So they did it when people wasn't even expecting it. You understand? Go ahead.
And within 2 credos, not a man of all of them there remains alive. The Spaniards entered a large house nearby, for this was happening at its door, and in the same way, with cuts and stabs, began to kill as many as they found there, so that a stream of blood was running, as if a great number of cows had perished.
You know what that remind me of? When they sacked Jerusalem, the history of 70 A.D., when they said blood rolled like a stream out of Jerusalem. Read on.
To see the wounds which covered their bodies of the dead, and dying was a spectacle of horror and dread.
Read the next page. Next page, 808B. Go ahead.
Proceeded to devour it before the mother's eyes. When there were among the prisoners some women who had recently given birth, if the newborn babes happened to cry, they seized them by the legs and hurled them against the rocks or flung them into the jungle so that they would be certain to die there.
Now you gotta meditate on that thing right there. It says if the baby just cried, they would take the baby by the legs and kill it against the rocks or fling it into a jungle. Wow, that's crazy, man. That's crazy. Give me the video. Number 9.
Still, the fact remains. I pay $500. I want 5 goddamn fights. So what about my $500, huh? What about my $500? You gonna reimburse me? You even know what reimburse means? Huh? I'll reimburse you. You will? Yep. You'll pay $500 for practically a one-eyed old Joe ain't fit to push a broom?
No, he won't. He's just tired of you toying with him is all. Matter of fact, so am I. But we ain't paying a penny for that pickaninny. Ain't got no use for him. Ain't that right, Doc? You heard him?
You're gonna have to excuse Mr. Stone Cipher's slack-jawed gaze. He ain't never seen a nigga like you ever in his life. Ain't that right, Mr. Stone Cipher?
That's right.
For that matter, so have I. Now, seeing as you won't pay a penny for this pickaninny here, you won't mind me handling this nigga any way I see fit.
He's your nigga.
Mr. Stone Cipher? That Marshal and the bitches send D'Artagnan to nigga heaven.
This was going on in the 60s. You understand? Police was sicking dogs on our people, all right, when we was trying to peacefully protest, all right? Not long ago, you understand? So this is what we're dealing with. Give me Leviticus chapter 26 real quick.
That's just what they was doing. You understand? They documented this stuff. So that ain't just a movie. That's facts.
Right. Leviticus 26 and verse 21 and 22.
This is the book of Leviticus, chapter 26 and verse 21.
Come on.
And if ye walk contrary unto me, it will not hearken unto me, I will bring 7 times more plagues upon you according to your sins.
Read.
I will also send wild beasts among you.
He said what?
I will also send wild beasts among you.
So another wild beast that God sent among us is gators. You understand? They got a thing called gator bait. They was using our babies as gators. He said, I will do what?
I will also send wild beasts among you, which shall rob you of your children.
Shall do what?
Which shall rob you of your children.
Read.
And destroy your cattle, and make you few in number.
Now, give me number 10. Number 10. All right, so by us being contrary to our God, all right, this is the judgment that we received, all right, which is befitting because we should have humbled ourselves to God. He just destroyed the top nation on earth, the number one nation on earth, the Egyptians. So, you know, we got to, meditate and think about these things, you understand, so we can get our minds right, like Officer was saying earlier. All right, give me number 10. Number 10. All right, so this book right here, when I first read this book, Conquest of the Dogs is in this book. Actually, it was $500. This book right here, $500. I recently looked up, it's like $300, something like that now. So you can probably find it as low as about $185. But give me number 10 because I think I put that picture between 9 and 10. And we're going to read number 10. All right, let me see. Is that number 10? That's number 12. Go back. Find me number 10. That's what I want right there. Read that. Of children.
Of children trapped and burned alive in their houses, or stabbed to death because they walked too slowly.
They did what?
Or stabbed to death because they walked too slowly.
So they took a knife and stabbed a child to death because he walked too slowly. This is what we're dealing with. Remember, because some of y'all lost a thought, these are converts. These are the people that call themselves Jews
These
today.
the ones that's bombing the Palestinians right now.
Exactly.
It's them.
Do you think they give a damn about them children dead on TV? No. Keep reading.
Of the routine cutting off of women's breasts.
It was routine to cut off women's breasts.
And the tying of heavy gourds to their feet before tossing them to drown in lakes and lagoons. Of babies taken from their mother's breasts, killed and left as roadside markers.
Hold on, read that part again. They was killed in what?
Of babies taken from their mother's breasts, killed and left as roadside markers.
So they used babies to mark their trail. They used, let me say it again. They used dead babies to mark their trail so they could find their way back to wherever it is they wanted to go.
Damn.
That's demonic right there. Go ahead.
Of quote-unquote stray Indians, dismembered and sent back to their villages with their chopped off hands and noses strung around their necks. Of pregnant and confined women, children, old men, as many as they could capture, thrown into pits in which stakes had been embedded and left stuck on the stakes until the pits were filled.
You see that? That's talking about, you see it on the movies. They actually did it to our people, right? Where you have a trap, you may have like a fake grass, like a cover over it, but it's actually a hole with wooden spikes at the bottom. This is what that's talking about. They did that to our people till the pits were filled of our people on those stakes.
Damn.
Read.
And much, much more. One favorite sport of the conquistadors was dogging.
So that's going into that book we just seen. Go ahead.
Traveling as they did with packs of armored wolfhounds and mastiffs that were raised on a diet of human flesh and were trained to disembowel Indians. The Spanish used the dogs to terrorize slaves and to entertain the troops. An entire book, Dogs of the Conquest, has been published recently, detailing the exploits of these animals.
So if you can afford the book, go get it, all right? Now I want to deal with another aspect. Give me number 11 real quick. Minutes?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, we're going to rush through this.
So number 11.
Yes, number 11. Number 11, one more page and a couple more scripts, and we're going to bounce, all right? It's good that we got this far. I'm glad. I didn't think we was going to get through it. All right, so this is the butler. Come on. That's your Myra Carey. I didn't even know that was Myra Carey. Is that her name, Myra Carey? Mariah Carey.
Pop, where you taking Mom?
Get back to work.
Cecil, come back and what? Come here. Look at me, boy. Don't you lose your temper with that man.
It's his world. We just living in it. You hear me? Now get on back to work.
So that some time has passed, probably a couple hours.
Pop, what you gonna do?
Hey.
His wife. Give me Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 30. Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 30. All right. They give you these things, all right, in theater, on movies and everything, but they never go into detail. And they never teach you in these schools that they set up that this is the prophecies of God. All right. Go ahead, read that.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, and verse 30.
Read.
Thou shalt betroth a wife, and another man shall lie with her.
That's what we just seen, all right? We had wives in slavery, right? And they were raping our women, all right? Because they cast off all pity. You understand? Now give me the book real quick. Number 12.
And you know what? All the men that's willing to forgive this are in Christianity. That's who you looking at.
Right. That's crazy. All right. Pull it up. Pull it up. Yeah. Yeah. So it should be 2 pages. Is it another? Yeah, 12 and 13. Yeah. Start at the other one. Start at the other one first. Go back. All right, start. Read that.
While still in the Caribbean, a report to the King's Minister by a group of Dominicans provides a different but equally vivid example of other classic function and fantasy of rape.
Fantasy of rape. Go ahead.
The demonstration of power and the degradation of both the victim and her loved ones.
Read.
Typically, when an enslaved workman returned from the mines at the end of a day.
So y'all understand, I don't know if I got this, but do you know those mines were 725 feet deep in the earth? That's where I think the concept of hell being in the earth came from. I don't know if I got it, but it's in this book. They will leave you there for a week. You understand? These people didn't live no longer than like 3 or 4 months. It's all kind of chemtrails in the earth, like mercury and all kind of stuff that kill you. You understand what I'm saying? Anyway, go ahead.
The friars reported not only was he beaten or whipped because he had not brought up enough gold.
So if he didn't bring up enough gold, he was either beaten or whipped. Go ahead.
But further, most often. Read. He was bound hand and foot.
Bound hand and foot.
And flung under the bed like a dog.
Flung under the bed like a dog.
Before the Spanish foreman lay down directly over him with his wife.
Man, can you imagine that? You right there under the bed, and this man is in your wife. Just your imagination run wild.
Christianity tell you to forget that.
Cuneo here expresses an attitude toward raped women that soon will become a staple of violent pornography and male sadistic fantasy. She enjoyed it.
Yeah, with the Sexy Red and Cardi B, that's where it comes from. You know what I'm saying? They had a sadistic fantasy about our women. You know what I'm saying? And then they so perverted in their mind, they think that we enjoy it. They think our women enjoy it. You understand? But man, I couldn't imagine some man, bruh.
So what they're saying is that all black women is like Cardi B or Sexy Red or Nicki Minaj. They all sexualized. So there's nothing wrong if I just snatch her and rape her.
Right.
That's what he said.
Right.
So he can sleep well at night.
Right. Give me Isaiah chapter 8, verse 18. Isaiah 8 and verse 18.
This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 8 and verse 18. Behold, I and the children whom the Lord hath given me are for signs and for wonders.
You see that? We for signs and for wonders. These things has happened to our people because we broke God's commandments. Give me Baruch chapter 4, verse 30. Read down to verse 34.
This is the book of Baruch, chapter 4 and verse 30. Take a good heart, O Jerusalem.
Take a good heart, O Jerusalem. Go ahead.
For he that gave thee that name will comfort thee.
You see that? God who gave you that name shall comfort thee. Go ahead.
Miserable are they that afflicted thee, and rejoiced at thy fall.
God say, don't get it twisted. He say, they going to be miserable. Those that rejoiced at your fall. Read.
Miserable are the cities which thy children serve.
It says, miserable are all those cities where our people served in slavery. Read.
Miserable is she that received thy sons.
Go ahead.
For as she rejoiced at thy ruin.
They rejoiced at our ruin. Go ahead.
And was glad of thy fall.
They was glad at our fall. Come on.
So shall she be grieved for her own desolation.
God said they're going to be grieved by their own desolation. You understand? Give me Zephaniah chapter 2, verse 1.
This book of Zephaniah, chapter 2 and verse 1. Gather yourselves together. Yea, gather together, O nation not desire.
So in these last days, God has put his spirit on us. We didn't do it on our own accord, all right, to gather together because this is God's business, all right? And in our gathering together, we got to remember the old but a new commandment, but old, I think that's how it's worded, to love one another, all right? We can't let Satan get into our spirit, you know what I'm saying, as the days approach, all right, to where we could become unloyal. I can't get my words out. All right, read.
Before the decree bring forth.
Go ahead.
Before the day pass as the chaff.
That's talking about judgment. Read.
Before the fierce anger of the Lord come upon you. Before the day of the Lord's anger come upon you. Seek ye the Lord, all ye meek of the earth.
So we got to be seeking the Lord diligently in these last days, all right? Last scripture, Revelation chapter 3, verse 3.
This book of Revelation, chapter 3 and verse 3. Remember therefore how thou hast received and heard.
So remember, all these classes that we come out with, you know what I'm saying? Not only us, but our leaders, you know, all the captains, the officers. Remember those things, those that you have received and heard. Read on.
And hold fast and repent.
Go ahead.
If therefore thou shalt not watch, I will come on thee as a thief, and thou shalt not know what hour I will come upon thee.
We'll work with anybody and form coalition with anybody that has revolution on their mind. We might not be back. I might be in jail. I might be anywhere. But when I leave, you can remember I said with the last words on my lips that I am a revolutionary.
But 100 years later, the Negro still is not free. We want freedom by any means necessary. We want justice by any means necessary.
This is a revolution of God. This time that we're living in, the greatest time on earth, revolution. Spiritual and biblical revolution. All these lives will be shut down in the earth. He's strong in Lord. His life, his life, his life, his life, his life, his life.
You can tell by my gait that I'm all in. You can tell by my faith that I'm all in. Front line with the truth, I'ma fall in. Even if it's a dead end, going all in. You can tell by the things I'm involved in. I can lose it all for my calling.